Today we are going to learn how to solve a 2 by 2 system of equations using your TI-84 plus. So as always, you've got your steps kind of written out here. Make sure that you keep those handy so that if you forget, you can look back at those really easily. Not going to read those to you, but I will talk through them as we do our example. So I attached a screenshot here of the menu that we're going to learn, and this is going to be one of the um, menus that we use most commonly in this course. We're going to learn to do number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Today we're focusing on number 5. So here is our 2 by 2 system example that we're going to use here so that we can kind of go through and highlight these steps. So step 1, solve both of the equations for y. So in this first equation, that's pretty easy. I just need to subtract 2x on both sides. So I have y equals negative 2x plus 5 for that one. Down here, a little bit more complicated. I need to add the 3x to both sides first, which gives me 4y equals 3x minus 68. Then I need to divide everything by 4. So that gives me y equals 3/4 x, because the 3 divided by the 4. And then negative 68 divided by 4, you probably don't know that off the top of your head, which is fine, but that's negative 17. So we now have our second equation, which is y equals 3/4 x minus 17. So here's equation number 1. And here is equation number 2. So step 1 is done. Step 2, we're going to enter both of those equations into our y equals screen. So I go over to my calculator here, hit y equals. I've got an old equation in there that I cleared out. So now I'm going to type those both in. So I've got negative 2x plus 5 in my y1, and then I go down to y2 and I enter 3/4. I'm going to use that fraction button, alpha y equals choice 1. So 3 in the numerator, 4 in the denominator, x, and then we have minus 17. Okay, so I have now entered both equations in my y equals screen. So then I'm going to adjust the window. So when I look at both of these equations, this has a y-intercept of negative 17. This has a y-intercept of positive 5. So not that I always need to be able to see the y-intercepts, but just from initial thoughts, I would think that I would need to go up to at least 5 on the y-axis and down to at least negative 17. So I'm going to go ahead and change my y minimum to negative 20. Oh, this is still adjusted weird from the last time I used this. So we'll change the x to the standard because we don't see anything that tells us otherwise here. So this will stay 10, and then we'll change this to negative 20. And counting by ones should still work okay. Then we'll hit graph. So notice it's putting on the lines here. Both of them. Excellent. So now I look back. I pressed graph. That was step 4. Step 5, make sure that you can see the intersection. Now, remember that if lines are parallel, they're not going to intersect. If the two lines are the same line, they intersect everywhere. So watch for those that you learned about, but most of the lines are going to intersect, so make sure you can see those. Adjust the window again if you can't. Now is where we learn this nice new trick. We are going to press second and then trace. The second trace gives us this calculate menu. So we go to second trace and we're going to choose choice 5. So second trace, choice 5, which stands for intersect. Then my next step, after I do that, it says use my arrows to move the cursor near the intersection. Then I'm going to press enter 3 times. So use my arrows. I'm going to use this one over here. And I'm just going to scroll. Notice that because I'm on the blue line, it's telling me which of those lines equations it is. So I moved close to the intersection. Now I'm going to press enter 3 times. So enter, enter, enter. If you have done it 3 times, it should say intersection down here at the bottom. Notice it gives us an x equals and a y equals. X equals 8, y equals -11. So that means that our solution as an ordered pair, x equals 8, y equals -11. So this right here would be our answer. So again, you now know how to use that intersect feature in the calculate menu, which helps us to solve 2 by 2 systems of equations.